Hey guys, my name is Chantel and I'm back with another video. As you can see, I just hop right into it. First thing I'm doing here is just, I still had some gel polish on my nails from a previous set. So what I'm doing is just buffing the gel polish off of my nails. And I did speed the video up because it was kind of long. So today I'm actually going to be doing a French set, a green French set. I don't normally do Frenchies, so I'm trying to get used to doing Frenchies because a lot of people like French tips. So I'm just going to work on my non-dominant hand, do some French tips today. As you see right here, what I'm doing is I go in with this little ball. It's not quite a ball bit. It's a ball bit, but it has like a small point to it. I go in with that bit and I clean up my cuticles. Sometimes I have to clip my cuticles, but not all the time. This particular time, I just had to push the cuticles back and clean them up.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
Now, I was told that using a top coat before applying the tips would make them pop off. I found out the hard way that for me that does not work. So in this video, I'm trying that method of applying top coat. I'm going to be applying 2 layers of top coat. And once I finish applying the top coat, I'll go in and put the tips on. Now that I've applied the top coat, I'm going to go in with some tips. I think I got these tips from Amazon. It's called the Toledo. I'm thinking it came from Amazon. They're C-curved tips. I do use KDS glue, which has never failed me. And I've only been really, well, I took a break. So I took a break from doing nails, even on my own hands, while I went to school. Well, I went to school. I still was doing my own nails, and then I took a break like around the time I was about to finish school, nail school. So I took a break, and then I decided recently I wanted to get back into them. So it's kind of foreign to me, but I feel like I'm getting right back into it. As you see, these are some very long nails, which is totally out of my comfort zone. I don't really do long nails, but I did want to try the long Frenchies. I seen a design I liked, and I actually forgot what the design was when I got to this video. So it ended up not really being the design I saw. But yeah, so these are C-curved tips. Again, they came from Amazon, I think. Don't quote me on that. They could have came from, yeah, Amazon, because they didn't come from Notpolish. It usually has their name on the tips. So I'm pretty sure they came from Amazon. So as you can see, I just glue the tips on the tip. Now, I don't glue my tips like tip. I do glue up a little bit from the tip because I don't have any nails. So I do glue up a little bit from the tip because I noticed that if you glue the tips on to the actual tip, it won't. It'll usually break. As you can see, although I'm still going long for me because, like I said, I wear short nails. I do not wear long nails. But because I'm just getting back into the swing of things, I kind of want to do more of what everybody's wearing. I feel like that's the only way to build clientele. So, even though they're still long, they're not as long. So I would say they're still about XL. They were XXLs. but they're about XL. As you can see, my thumb is shorter than the rest of my nails. What I'm going to do now is just go in, shape up the nails. Anything that does not fit completely from sidewall to sidewall, because sometimes you cannot find the perfect nail. And if you can't find the perfect nail, you do have to put on one that's a tad bit bigger and make sure you file it down to where it actually fits from sidewall to sidewall, because you don't want a nail that's too wide for your hand. These particular nails for my hands, they look kind of wide on my hands because I have little fingers. These were not the tips I was supposed to use for this look. That's why I end up having to change the look. I was supposed to be using more of my coffin look. And because these are C-curve, I did not want to cut them too much. Once I realized I used the wrong tips, I didn't want to go in and try to cut the sides, because with C-curves, it's a little bit different when it comes to trying to cut down and trying to shape the nails as far as like cutting the sides to make them from square to coffin. You really don't want to do that with C-curve nails. So you'll notice I just shape up the nails, make sure they're about the same length. It's my own nails and I'm going to be taking them off. So some things I do, I might be more attentive with a client than I would be with my own self. As you can see here, I'm just going in blending the nails. So what I'll do is go through and blend each nail.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
Now that I've blended the tips, I'm going to go in with, I'm trying to think of what color I used. It's a nude by Notpolish, but I actually mixed, no, I didn't mix anything. I was going to say I mixed something in with it, but I don't think I did. I went in with Topless and Barefoot. It's a nude from Notpolish. And I'm using a Notpolish brush, also size 12. Now, the issue is I'm using Mia Secret's monomer. And I have not used Mia Secret in a long time. But like I said, I have not done nails in a while. And I'm more on a budget. And I ran out of a lot of things I had before I stopped doing nails. So I'm more on a budget. So Mia Secret is like a cheaper brand monomer that also works. So I went in and I used Mia Secret monomer. As you can see, you'll notice that I struggled when I first started laying the acrylic down. But then as I started doing the acrylic a little bit more, it actually started getting a little bit more smooth. I feel like I need to work on my liquid to powder right now, but using the Mia Secret, because I feel like Mia Secret may be a little bit more runny than when I use the Notpolish monomer with the Notpolish powder, or even when I use Young Nails monomer with Young Nails or any other powder. It seems like it's not as runny as using Mia Secrets monomer. But as you'll see, I'm going to go in on this one with a bigger bead, but because I'm doing my own nails and I was trying to keep it in view of the camera, it actually was a little bit harder for me to try to make sure my nail was in view of the camera and lay the acrylic the way I lay acrylic. So I did struggle to lay the acrylic.
Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
And as you can see with these tips, they look wider once you lay the acrylic. So that's another reason why I don't like these tips, especially for me. So again, it was a mistake that I even used these tips. But since I already had them out, I did not feel like going back to getting a different kind. So I went ahead and just used them because I was just doing my own nails. And my main focus was more on trying to work with a French tip design. So, like I said, you see me struggle a little bit. And it's a little bit harder with C-curved tips anyway. I don't know why, but laying acrylic on C-curves is a little bit harder. I don't know if it's because of how curved they are around the side. So, I feel like I have to catch the acrylic a lot more. But, yeah, as you can see, I was kind of messy with the acrylic, which is not normal for me because I usually don't have that problem.
Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art. Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
Alright, now that I've laid the acrylic, as you can see, my foundation is actually not bad. It's not like it's bumpy or anything. It's just the sides are all over the place. I go in with my barrel bit and go around the cuticle area. I used to use my ball bit and the little skinny barrel bit, but for me, this one actually works better. So I go in with this bit and I clean up the cuticles first. And sometimes I go in a different order. It just depends. But I clean up the cuticles. Make sure they're nice and neat. I don't think I did the pinky on this finger at first because the acrylic was still wet. But then once I did that, I did just recently get me a 5-in-1 bit. So I'm going in with this 5-in-1 bit. And I'm going to shave down the sides. Because like I said, I felt like it was just too wide on the sides for me. So I'm actually just filing down the sides. I do not have a particular way that I do mine yet. I don't really have a routine. So it's just kind of like going with the flow, whichever side I feel like I want to go on at the moment. Maybe at some point I'll have some type of routine to where, hey, I go up or I go down or whatever. But for right now, it just works this way. So as you'll see, I'm going in and I'm filing off the excess acrylic on the sides that makes me feel like the nail may be a bit too wide. I'm also going across the top where it's possibly not as smooth, and shaving the acrylic off the top. As you can see, like I said, the foundation is not bad at all, so I don't have like a lot of filing to do. Once I finish going across the top and the sides of the nails, I will go in with my hand file, because you cannot do a set of nails, for me anyway, I can't do a set of nails without a hand file, because I still need to go across the top of my nail with the hand file. And right here, this is what I meant by I had to wait on my pinky because it was still wet. So I went in and did my pinky last. But yeah, I use a hand file. I go over top with the hand file. I go down the sides with the hand file again, just to make sure it's all smooth. As you can see, I'm kind of just trimming the front and shaping it up. I haven't gotten to a point where I feel like my shaping is as crisp as I want it to be, but it'll work, especially not on my own hand. For some reason, I cannot hold my hand steady enough to where I can really shape, especially the tips anyway. So yeah, you see I'm going in now with the hand file. So I'll let you see me just go over the nails with the hand file at this point.
Style is what I call art.
now that I have the nails filed to my liking, I go in and I buff the nail. As you can see, I make adjustments where I feel like they need to be made, but I go in and I buff the nail because I like to have a smooth background. Now, I've forgotten to do this before on my own nails, but it's really something that should be done. So I'm going in, I buff the nails, make the nails really smooth. Go back over, make sure that I don't have any pieces hanging on the side or the sides don't look raggedy. Okay, now that I've finished laying the acrylic, buffing it out, and making sure that it's smooth, I'm going to go in with my colors. Now, I am going to be using my D&D polishes. First, I'm going in with like a lime green, and then I'll go in with the darker green over top. And I'm going to be doing the crocodile look, the French crocodile look. So, like I said, French tips is not my thing. So, of course, it's not perfect right now, but that's the goal. The goal is to perfect my French tips. So, you'll see I go in with the liner brush. I just got them from Amazon. I'll go in with this liner brush and kind of line it out the way I want to have it lined out, which again is a little bit hard on my own nails too, especially trying to make sure that I'm in the view of a camera. Having my hands sitting a certain way is kind of rough. But yeah, I'm going in with the lime green as the base coat. As you'll see, it looks like I'm just kind of painting all raggedy in the beginning, because I am going to go back and clean up the French portion of the nail with my acetone and a cleanup brush. You're gonna notice that D&D polish does go on kind of thick. So what although it's my favorite polish because it has a really good coverage, but what I do is sometimes I have to go back over the polish and kind of like clean the brush completely off and just go back over the polish and smooth it. But yeah, so right now you're gonna watch me do the French. You're gonna watch me clean up each French, which is probably a better way I could have went about it. But I kind of was like, okay, I noticed that it didn't look good, so I wanted to go ahead and clean up the French before I could even finish the nail. But anyway, yeah, you'll notice that the polish is thick. So again, you just gotta go over it and kind of thin it out to make sure that you don't have bulky polish on your nails. So I'm going to let you guys watch me do these Frenchies and clean them up, and I'll be back.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
I do cure for 60 seconds in between mine, but you know you actually can cure like 30 seconds in between every time, but I just usually do 60. It's up to you. It's up to you, and it depends on your lamp too. I noticed that I've had my lamp for a little while, so I noticed that my lamp does not, to me, my lamp does not cure the nail as well as it used to, so I'm probably about to get another lamp. But yeah, I go in for 30 or 60 seconds. It just depends on you as a person. So again, I'm going to let you watch me do these Frenchies and clean them up. Again, I'm going to be curing for about 30 to 60 seconds in between each nail, just to make sure I don't get polish everywhere and mess the French up.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art. Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
although the D&D polish is thick, I still go in with a second coat, meaning that you also have to clean up a second time. So I do go over with the second coat because the coverage is not completely, to me, it wasn't as full and as I'm trying to think of the word for it. It's not as dark as I wanted it to be the first time. So I always try to go in with a second coat. There are certain colors that you do not have to use a second coat on, but this particular look, I did go in with a second coat. So you'll just see me go back in over each nail with a second coat, clean up each nail once again, just to make sure I do not mess up the French portion of the nail, and I will be back.
Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
So right here, as you see, I'm starting with my pointer finger because I had to cut out my thumb. What happened was I used, I don't have a blooming gel to spread the design. So I used the eye gel base coat at first. And eye gel base coat does not spread the way Beetles base coat do. So as you can see, my thumb was very messed up because the eye gel base coat just did not work as a blooming gel. Well, the Beetles base coat does a really good job working as a base coat, as a blooming gel. So as you can see, me using the Beetles base coat, it actually spreads very nicely on that first finger. So I went in with each finger with the Beetles base gel versus trying to use the eye gel base. It just, again, eye gel base coat does not work for the blooming as a blooming gel. But Beetles do work. As you can see, the Beetles did. It laid on there and it spread it the way I wanted it to spread. Even though if you use blooming gel, it'll spread a little bit wider. So again, just go in and you're doing the basic crocodile design using the Beetles base coat as my blooming gel. But I would advise for you to get blooming gel, which is the next thing I have to order. Try not to put your dots too close together when you're doing this design because it does have to spread. And you can still go in with, I'll say go into the light for about 30 seconds when you do this design because you still have to go over with your top coat. So you have time to kind of work with it, perfect it, because you do want to wait for it to spread a little bit. I did let it spread as much as I wanted it to spread before I started to go in and actually cure it. So I'll let you watch me do the last couple of nails.
Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
So I did cut out where I went back and refiled the thumb and filed off all of the color. I reused the hand file. I buffed it and everything before going back in with the color. I did choose to do something different with this thumb. It's still going to be the crocodile design, but not French. It's going to be full coverage crocodile design. Because I don't know. With the thumbs, I always want to do something different with my thumbs because they're never really seen. So sometimes it looks weird when you have the same design on your thumb. That's just my personal preference. To me, I just feel like the thumb should be a little bit different. So I went in with the full, especially with the fact that French takes so long and thumbs are rarely seen or appreciated most of the time. But again, I went back in with the same design, using the base coat, using the Beetles base coat as my blooming gel. So I'm going in with that same design. It's on you how much you want it to spread, because some people like to have a really, really spreaded look, which I've done that before too. A really, really spreaded look, and it's really pretty too. But I just think blooming gel may give you a better spread, but this is the spread I wanted to go for anyway. It wasn't the spread I wanted. I could have waited a little bit longer. The longer you wait on the spread, it usually spreads a little bit more. But this is the spread I actually wanted. So once I finish this thumb, I'm going to go in and cure this thumb for like 60 seconds because it was the last nail. Then I'll go in, and although I've already top coated these, I think I forgot that I top coated like the other 4 nails before starting on the thumb because I didn't want to mess it up. I don't know if you know, but regular polish is gel polish is kind of sticky before you use the top coat. So I wanted to make sure that when I went to go file off the polish from that thumb, from the mistake I had made, that it did not stick to the gel polish on the other fingers. So if you have something where you have to go back in at the end and drill or anything, you want to make sure that your other fingers are top coated and completely dried before going in to re-drill anything, because the drill droppings will get on the nail and stick because the polish is sticky. Once you put the top coat, and I'm using a non-wipe top coat. I'm using the Notpolish non-wipe top coat. Once you put the top coat on, usually it's a dry, smooth surface. So you don't have to worry about anything sticking to it. I do dry for a whole 120 seconds, which is how my lamp goes. So I'll dry for the whole 120 on these nails. And this is the final look. Guys, I am just starting out on recording, so it may not be the best. I have another camera coming soon, but please like, subscribe, comment, or whatever to my channel. I will be having more content coming really, really soon. Thank you so much for watching.
Style.
And I did go back in at the end and add my cuticle oil. It's just basically cuticle oil. It's like a honeysuckle flavor from or fragrance from Amazon. So I did go in and use cuticle oil on the end for the pictures.